What if a platformer didn't just challenge your reflexes, it challenged your understanding of control itself? Nearly a decade after release, Playdead's Inside still stands as one of the most haunting and masterfully designed indie games ever made. And here's the twist: in 2025, it might just be better than ever, especially on Steam Deck. Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today we're diving deep into Inside, developed by the creators of Limbo, that's Playdead. Released back in 2016, it's a 2D puzzle platformer that took the gaming world by storm with its eerie atmosphere, striking minimalism, and emotionally charged storytelling, all without saying a single word. And now, almost 10 years later, Inside isn't just holding up, it's thriving, especially if you're playing it on Steam Deck. You play as a nameless boy alone in a grey, oppressive world. You're being hunted, watched, and pulled into something much bigger than you can see. No tutorial text, no voice lines, no dialogue, just you, the environment, and your instincts. Genius of Inside is just how it teaches you through observation and intuition. Every movement, every obstacle, every puzzle silently communicates the rules of its world. This is where Inside separates itself from almost every other indie game of its time and even today. The atmosphere is suffocating but beautiful. Muted greys and blacks dominate the screen, yet somehow every scene feels alive. The sound design, the machinery, the distant barking of dogs, the echo of your own footsteps. It's a masterclass in environmental storytelling. Every sound has purpose, every silence meaning. Gameplay-wise, Inside is deceptively simple. You just move left to right, climb, pull levers, push boxes, classic 2D puzzle platforming stuff. But what makes it extraordinary is how those basic mechanics evolve. Early on, it's all about survival, avoiding searchlights, sticking to the shadows, hiding from guards, and figuring out how to move unseen. Then the puzzles get deeper. You start to manipulate the environment in disturbingly creative ways. You learn to think differently, not just act faster. By the midpoint, the game's mechanics take a wild turn. It constantly introduces new ideas, physics puzzles, timing challenges, even light horror elements without ever feeling bloated. There's not a single wasted mechanic here. Now let's talk about why Inside is a must-play still in 2025 and 2026, especially on the Steam Deck. This game runs flawlessly. It's lightweight, optimized beautifully, and the art style scales perfectly to the deck's display. The deep black, soft lighting, the smooth frame rates make it feel tailor-made for handheld play. Even better, Inside is short enough to finish in 1 or 2 sessions. I was probably playing over the course of a couple of weeks, maybe 30 minutes here or there. I played it on both PC and TV. That's a 65-inch big screen, widescreen TV with a controller sat back there on the sofa. But I also played it on Steam Deck. I got to play it on the plane recently. I'd recommend headphones if you're playing it on the Steam Deck, but it works perfectly across both. And I imagine a normal PC on monitor, it will work absolutely fine. And because it doesn't rely on complex controls or heavy text, it's an incredibly immersive experience on the go. What makes Inside timeless isn't just the puzzles, it's the emotion it draws from silence. The game explores themes of control, freedom, and humanity without ever spelling them out. You feel them through action and environment. It's unsettling not because it shows you horror, but because it implies horror. Even in 2025, when we've seen massive cinematic games and AI-driven storytelling, Inside's wordless narrative still feels bolder. It's the kind of experience that ends and you just sit there processing. Enjoyed completing it recently, getting to watch the credits, just listening to it, feeling that sense of achievement. It's a weird ending, but it's worth getting there. So if you didn't finish the game, I would absolutely recommend it. If you loved Limbo, maybe Little Nightmares, which I'm thinking of moving on to next, I've heard that's very similar, or even Planet of Lana, which I wasn't familiar with, and ChatGPT has just recommended to me, so I'm going to go and check that out. You owe it to yourself to play, or at least replay, Inside. It's short, 3 to 4 hours. Like I said, I think it probably took me a little bit longer, maybe 5, but that was fine. I was enjoying it. I got stuck occasionally, but not too much. It gets weirder later on. Like I said, there's a lot of stuff to do with gravity and things like that. Weird. I won't spoil it for you, but it gets harder, gets really interesting. It's a little bit stranger than Limbo, which I actually completed just before playing this. In an age of endless open worlds and live service grinds, Inside reminds us what's focused, handcrafted design feels like. It's an experience, a piece of interactive art that reflects your time and intelligence. So, is Inside still worth playing 2025-26? Absolutely. In fact, it might be the perfect game to revisit now. It's short, haunting, endlessly replayable, and runs beautifully on modern hardware, including the Steam Deck. Whether you're an indie veteran or someone discovering Playdead for the first time, I'm envious if that's you. Inside deserves a spot in your library, and so does Limbo. Sometimes the quietest games make the loudest impact. If you enjoyed this breakdown, drop a like, subscribe for more spoiler-free PC and Steam Deck reviews, and let me know in the comments, what game do you think holds up best in 2025? Thanks for watching, and remember, sometimes the most haunting stories are the ones told in silence.